Hello, hello.
Hi, friend.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is not the Marley and Lindsay show. It's the Lindsay and Robin show.
Because Marley had to go have a vacation.
And she had as a husband. Like, they have to go spend time together for their anniversary. Crazy nonsense.
What is this insanity? Please.
You mean you have to have a life during Christmas?
Wait, what is that?
So she left us in charge, which is probably not a good idea.
Probably a terrible idea.
Yeah. I mean, it took me this long. And if you looked at the description, I don't even know how to make a description. So Marley's going to fix it on the back end later. Look, we're just going to hang out.
Look, we have never claimed to be Marley Bird.
No.
That is not who we are. I don't understand all the things that I swear to God, this if you can't hear my computer, it's a miracle.
I can't hear yours. Mine's doing its own thing. Marley got me a new one because we just run too many graphics and too much stuff.
Oh, I'm so familiar.
And it's a gaming computer, and my son set it up so it changes colors nonstop because it's like see-through.
Yeah.
So it's like a techno party in here nonstop.
Yeah.
And I'm way too lazy to change it because I'm like,
I understand. So, because when I was trying to find a computer, she sent me the computer that she got you, and it doesn't have enough RAM for
you,
for me.
Yeah,
which seems insane since you run AutoCAD.
Yeah,
and I don't. I run Illustrator.
I mean, I do Illustrator as well, but yeah, I don't think AutoCAD definitely makes bigger files because like they're more vectors, so there's more like vectors are like individual lines in your drawing. But I think when you get down to it, the actual files are small. It's just running it. It's just actually
exactly like the file itself is not large.
No,
it is the sheer amount of RAM that Adobe is like. I mean, who cares if it doesn't run?
Yeah, like I need it all, but
like so the computer that I purchased because my husband needed a new computer, and if he's I'm getting the new computer and he can have my old computer because I can write my computer off my taxes. And that's important at this point in the year.
Yeah.
And he's fine with that because he was like on an i5 7th gen and I had an i13 9th gen or something. Like it's like a 5-generation jump. Right. It's like a 5-chip jump with like 4 generations too. I don't quite understand the math on chips.
I mean, if you can delete all the stuff off of it, then.
Oh yeah. He actually was way smarter and he took the SSD drive out of his computer, stuck it in the new computer, and then slaved my old SSD to his. So, and like I had a better graphics card than him too. And he's like, and he pulled it up and he's playing, like my husband's a gamer. He's playing like Star Citizen, which is like, it is rendering a solar system as you fly.
That's really cool.
Okay. Like rendering graphics live as you are moving through a universe. And he literally called me and I was like, hey, how does Star Citizen look? And he was like, how does this not run Illustrator?
It's just,
and I was like, great question. I don't know.
Well, I know for me, like I just keep making things like bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I know Marley was saying that like when I chart, like I chart every single stitch when I'm doing like a sweater. Like I'm not doing it if I'm making, I don't know, a stuffy. Then I'm just going around. But like when they're different stitches, I'm charting everything and they get to be really, really, really big. And that's why it starts to kill me.
So I had an Intel chip and it turns out that apparently if you're a designer, Ryzen chips are better.
Okay.
There's more threads apparently. I don't know what that means because I'm not hip anymore. I swore when I was a teacher that I would never be a person who didn't understand computer jargon. And I want you to know I turned 40 and I don't understand it anymore. Because that is reality. And so like I was like, well, I'm gonna get the newest chip because that's the best. And like everything online was like, if you have the newest chip and this graphics card, then 32 gigabytes of RAM is plenty. I don't know if it's because I have ADHD. I don't know if it's because I run a business and I have to have 72 tabs of Chrome open every day. Like I have 3 instances of my online store because I have to have one that's my mobile app. I have to have one that's my live platform. I have to have one that's my actual back end. Then I have to have like 2 Canva apps, a front end of my website to make sure everything's working. Then I have like, let's not talk about my Google Drive tab. Let's not talk about it right now.
I mean, you're just speaking my life right now.
And like, and the thing about it is that like, it was really slow. I was like, why is this computer slow? Like, this is not an upgrade. And so I opened like my task manager and I was using 46% of my memory. And the only thing I had open was Chrome. And I literally texted my husband, I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah. Like,
not to mention the fact that like, apparently like this can, I wish I could show you this. It is like a fish tank. When I tell you it is a fish tank, I mean, it is a fish tank. It is 13 inches wide. It is glass on 3 sides. It is a discotheque.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't mind the lights. I think it's pretty. Like, it doesn't bother me, but like, it is definitely designed for someone who is streaming. And that massive computer is meant to sit on your desk. Where do you put your monitors?
I've been wondering that myself. I won't lie. Like the computers are gigantic. And I'm
it's massive. And like my old computer was like super narrow, needs like little perfectness. And like this thing, and like is it pretty? Yeah, it's real pretty. But whoever programmed this thing is just set the fans to be like going all the time.
Well, that's because you're running your computer all the time. The fans are always what goes on mine because I don't ever shut my computer down.
I don't either. But here's the thing. My old computer had as many fans as this computer, but like I could tell it's like, oh, I'm opening Illustrator and I'm doing the pattern maker. It's going to kick the fans on because like everything's going to boot up. No, like I could be texting my husband, like typing a text message to my husband and it is like, wah! Then I can open Illustrator and it's like, we cool.
It's funny that it's so loud.
And it's just like, it's not programmed. And so like when I called support, they're like, oh, the curve on your fans is wrong. We can help you fix that. I'm like, it's what? You want me to what?
I know.
This is not for me. He's like, well, I mean, are you using it like you're normally going to use? Like, no, like I'm not designing things right now. I'm busy making things right now.
I know.
Well, then like you'll have to change the curves. You know what? Can you just issue me an RA because I'm definitely not going to keep this. And he's like, well, we can help you with it. I'm like, no. Your support has been lovely. You are lovely people, but I don't have 13 inches of desk space in which to give this thing. Like I don't.
You just have to give it as much air flow as you can.
Yeah. And I don't have that. So I ordered a different computer. This one will be going back when the new one arrives.
Okay.
Yay. So I ordered a different computer, same processor, better graphics card, 64 gigs of RAM. And then I'm just going to watch for when the RAM goes on sale so that I can upgrade it to 128 because I'm just done. I'm just done.
That's good. That's good. I mean, because all you have to do is get through Hankmas, right? You just got to get through. What
you say that like it's not.
You understand, Lindsay. That's all I'm doing with Jolly Holiday. I'm just getting through.
Just get through it. Like you just have to like put your head down. Like there's always a disaster in Hankmas. There's just always a disaster. Like I know that. That is just you understand. Like you can't put the links in the description box. Like this is life. I want you to know that I spent all day. I'm like, this is a bag that I'm at least it's similar to something that I used to make, but like we discontinued that and this is an improvement, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, it's going to be so good. Sat down to last step. Doesn't work.
Oh no.
So yesterday while I was live, Angie was seam ripping the bag apart. Yeah.
So what does it look like now?
Piles of fabric. That's what it looks like. It's just piles of fabric. That's it.
Yep. You're just going to package that up, send it out.
Some assembly required.
Just turning into IKEA. That's all. Just giving everybody a little
the IKEA project bags. I mean, look, it's not, look, without Angie, I wouldn't be where I am. But then like today I came in and I'm like, oh, I've got an extra hour before I have to be live. I'm going to get so much done. Girl, where does the time go? because like I came in and like I got right to work, right? Like I answered my emails, I did the thing, and then like I took the photos and I edited the photos and I linked the photos and I loaded the thing and I printed the barcodes and I'm like, go me, right? And then like I looked at the clock and I was like, it's 11:40.
I know. Isn't that scary? Like it is just it's like they're that way. I'm so happy today is the kids' last day of school for break. Cause like I'm like the opposite kind of mom. I hate going to school. I hate it. I hate getting up in the morning. I hate making lunches. I hate getting out the door. I hate school. School ruins my life. I like having my kids around. I'm like the exact opposite of every other parent on earth. So like I actually get excited. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Because I wake up forever early before them. And it takes hours to get everyone out the door. And then you like look at it, it's like 9 o'clock and I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like now time to go to work.
Yeah. It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like my sweet, sweet husband. So he has a thing. He's part of a Masonic lodge here in town. And at this time of year, they put together fruit baskets to take to widows and children who've lost their family members. So like to take care of everybody, right? And you have someone to visit with at the holidays, so you're not alone. And like I think that's really beautiful. And so my husband's like, well, we're going to go pack baskets today. Do you want to come? I was like, well, yes, I would love to come, but it's at 8 tonight. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, right. I'm like, so I will not be there. And he's like, well, when we're done, I'll just like swing by the office and then like we can go get dinner. I'm like, honey, I hope that I have that day. I hope that I have that day. That it all just smoothly goes to plan, that everything is beautiful and kind and good to me. That's what I'm hoping. So have you had to do all of the all of the recitals and classroom parties and the
I don't that's the time of year, and I think that's why half of it I get really excited that it's done.
Yeah, I don't understand how mothers are alive at the end of the day.
And like, so I was a theater and music kid. Yeah. So becoming an athlete parent is really weird because I'm like, oh, great. We don't have to do these like course concerts because my daughter's now in high school. And so she got out of the band. So I'm like, we don't have to do this anymore. But now there's like Christmas meets. And I'm like, why?
Why?
We're going to have another meet next week or like, like New Year. I'm like, why do we need a special one? Again, not an athlete, just the mom. Yeah. So, my husband is, like how you talk about your future self and your like past self. Well, his past self was really mean to his future self. So in like the team dinners for home meets, they do these team dinners for the team afterwards. Yeah. They get the whole team together, all the officials, anybody who volunteered, and they have food for you as soon as you're done swimming. The kids meets usually starts at 6. It's usually done by 8. So it's like shove food in these kids and then they're out the door. It doesn't last long. It's probably like they're teenagers. It's like 30 minutes max, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you're still making food for 45 people. Like you got to make a lot of food. Anyway, so my husband was really excited because the people that we were playing was his alma mater where he swam in high school. So he's like, I'm going to lead this. And I was like, okay. That sounds great. Well, Mark got COVID. And so now it became my problem. So that was my Wednesday night was making, because now granted, Mark was really smart. He chose really good, like crock meals that like are like, yes, this is good to go. But literally having any other thing in my head was like, oh, okay, right. Yep. Because COVID and Mark and I, we don't get along. Like I get really jealous of people who like have it and they're like, oh, I didn't even know I had it. And I'm like, that hasn't been my case for me and Mark. We're like minimum, like crazy sick for 10 days. Like that's,
oh no.
We haven't, the kids are usually like 5 days.
COVID not work?
Well, the first time Mark took Paxlovid, he had, he had the rebound. So it was a whole month of COVID. So we
Oh
were
my
like,
God.
we don't want to do that.
No.
Because we have it so, I guess not intensely, but it like the hot, it like stays in your gut. So like,
Yeah.
that's where Paxlovid can't kill it. And so then it comes back and like you get a rebound.
Gotcha.
So we quarantine like super hard around us.
Yeah.
Because it's the holidays. And frankly, even if it wasn't COVID, you don't give somebody the flu or the stomach bug or anything at this time of year. Everyone is so like
keep your germs to yourself. I don't want none of
we're
that. None of that.
sensitive about it. Like my mother-in-law was the same way. Like I don't want to ruin someone else's day.
Yeah.
So we're really like we stay away. And because we get so sick, like that's also like we were not really happy to share these things. Anyway, so here I am, like I'm like texting my sister because like she's like the ultimate like, athlete band parent. Like she knows how to do all these things. She's like, all right, you're gonna get out your 4 crock pots. And I was like, what are you talking about? I have 1.
Crock pots.
My sister has 15 crock pots. She is like the crock pot queen. She's got little ones and big ones, and she makes the entire, like, I feel like she doesn't make the entire Thanksgiving dinner out of crock pot, but like she could. She probably could.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a terrible idea though.
No, because like
you just dump it all and then you walk away. That actually sounds like a brilliant idea, actually.
My sister is a kindergarten teacher, so she is incredibly organized and has like, but like, I think I told you this before, right?
Kindergarten, there's a very special place in heaven for her. Very special
and
place.
She teaches special needs kids. So they could be deaf, they could be blind, they could be physically disabled. They could be English as a second language.
Well, kindergarten is hard enough, let alone all of those other things. Kindergarten is so hard.
And like in her district, they kind of lump them all together. So that seems so weird to me because I was like she'll have like every year is like a different group.
Right.
So she could have like a severely autistic kid and then like just some kid that doesn't speak English, which I find so funny to me.
That does seem odd.
But anyway.
But
she's this like, anyway, she does all these amazing like dinners for her kids. Like she'll cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner for her kinders.
Wow.
So I was like, I know the person to call. But again, my husband picked really easy. He did he picked barbecue sliders and mac and cheese. So like perfect, right? Like you dump the mac and cheese in the crock pot, you walk away. You dump the chicken in the crock pot, you walk away. You bring the buns, bring pickles. Eat. Yes. So it wasn't bad, but it was definitely one of those things in life where you're like, I didn't do this as a theater kid. My parents did not do this. Like, they weren't like weekly be like, okay, here's the weekly meal. But like, that's how it is. It's a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly meal. And I was like, okay, I did it once. I'm good. Like, the kids are wonderful. It has nothing to do with the kids.
No.
It's more of just that mental load of just remembering.
God.
Just remembering to do it.
Like,
but yeah.
Look, I stood in the shower
like the future and past, my husband did not think about that it is this season. So like signing up to do it would be fine if it was January or February.
Right. Yeah. Like, look, here's where I'm at mentally. I stood in the shower for probably 5 minutes going, did I wash my face?
Oh, I know that feeling.
Did I wash my face? And then I found out like only recently that like my husband just like gets in the shower and like does a routine and gets out of the shower. And he's like, why does the shower always take so long? Like, because I can't remember if have I conditioned my hair? Did I wash my face? And he's like, so you're just standing there trying to remember if you've done the thing? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, don't you? And he was like, no. And I was like, what? So that was fun. Oh, jaw drop. When I was an athlete, the coach took us all to Pizza Hut after meets, and then we each brought enough money for that. Much simpler.
Yeah.
I like when I was an athlete, it was every parent had to sign up for a snack. You had to bring a snack for when it was over. It was like orange slices and like Capri Sun. And it was just like you had a cooler and everybody got a little baggie of snacks and then you got in your car and you left. That seems reasonable, but but also though, I will say this. She's a swimmer though, right?
Yes, it's the swimming. So
like
they've burned so
many calories. Like if you don't, she's just going to waste away.
Yeah. Like I don't think the basketball team is doing a team dinner. They might do like one.
Like they do one, but they're not providing barbecue sliders on like a random Thursday.
No, my daughter ate 6. Like they eat so much.
Oh my God. I've never when we had a swim, like we hadn't had when I was teaching high school, there was no swim team at the high school that I taught at. And then when I went to the middle school, they started the program while I was there. And the coach of the swimming team was the math teacher who taught across the hall from me. She was lovely. And she was like, she was a morning person. Because our school did not have a pool. That's not a thing here. It's not a thing here. And so the kids had to be like at whatever facility they contracted with at like school started at 8. Okay. They had to be at the gym at 5.
Right.
To practice.
They could take them to the pool.
Oh, no. They had to arrive at the pool. There's no bus. You are on your own.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and I remember she said like she added up all, because she's a math teacher. She added up all the meters that her kids had swam over the course of the season. And she's like, you know, and like to congratulate the kids, like on the announcements, like this is an accomplishment, right? Which I think is wonderful. I love that. And she was like, our team has swam something like, I think it was like 3.5 miles. The season was 6 weeks. Like it wasn't even that long. And she's like, I don't think you guys understand how long a mile is when you swim. I was like, no. I've watched Katie Ledecky. I'm fully aware. Absolutely not.
Oh,
absolutely not.
It is wild watching.
But like because like I had lots of swimmer girls in my homeroom class. These girls would eat breakfast in the cafeteria, which is like Pop-Tarts, eggs, and bacon. Okay. Right. They had like a full tray breakfast. And then we had first period and then we had break where like the kids who were late to school could get a snack because they didn't get breakfast. Mm-hmm. Right. They would eat a full second meal. They would eat, and it was not like, oh, I'm going to have a little snack. Like they fully unhinged their jaw. I was just like,
yeah.
The first time it happened, I'm like, sweetie, are you okay? And she's like, why wouldn't I be okay? And I was like, you are eating that.
They're so
very aggressively. I'm just making
hungry.
sure, like, do you have enough food at home? Do you feel safe at home? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, like, I've never seen you eat like this. Fine. I'm like, it's January and I've never seen you do this. So like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I had swim practice this morning. I was like, got it. No problem.
Right. You're like,
oh. I'm like, if you ever need extra snacks, you know where the snacks are. And she's like, yeah, I already hit you up. I was like, great. Love that for me. Mm-hmm. I'll make sure. She's like, you're going to have to buy more Skittles. I was like, okay.
No problem. We'll make that work. Yeah.
Personally, I think Skittles are too much work for the reward, but that's me.
Yeah. We luckily, my sister, like all of her kids were athletes. And my niece was an athlete in college as well. So she gave us lots of tips on like the good protein shakes, like milkshakes. So like Ellie can pop one of those in her book bag. So like she can like fuel up. Yeah. Because they swim when they're practicing, they swim 2 to 3 hours as swimming. And then that's 5 to 7 days a week, depending on like the schedule.
How do you afford your grocery bill?
Well, at least, I mean, like she's funny because she's easy, but like the boys, like the parents that have like multiple boys on the team, I was like, they just must, because you just need so much fuel to do that. Yeah. Because then they also lift. So they'll do lifting for an hour, 2 to 3 days a week. And that they'll do that in the morning at school. They luckily have evening practices, but like it's so funny because like she does field hockey in the fall, which is a little is exercise, right? Like you're running the entire length of a football field back and forth. But like their practices are like an
hour and a half. Yeah.
You know? And so like but like it's not like this like non-stop swimming.
Well, also like the difference is there's not constant resistance against you either.
The whole thing is wild to me because like Ellie's been swimming for forever. She's a club swimmer. And so like at club level, she's like not very good. But in high school level, because anyone can join the team,
right?
I just feel terrible for these kids that like barely can make it across the pool and decided to join high school swimming. And they're like, we're like, all the kids who've been swimming like this their whole life are like, oh, well, it's now swim season. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And they're happy. But like those kids that like don't exercise, I'm like,
swimming is not, that's not what you start with.
I feel like, I don't think
because like, look, I was a really athletic kid. I played soccer, and in my heyday, I remember, so like there was a park near my house that my mom liked to go walk. They had this 1 mile trail. It was beautiful, so serene and nice, and like it was lovely. And my mom we would drive to the park to walk this trail. Yeah. And I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna run. And like I remember I was like just jogging the trail, and I did. It's a 1 mile trail, because I know that because when we were in elementary school, we had to go run the mile at that trail. So it's 1 mile.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just like do right in my little like soccer brain, just do right. Yeah, I ran the mile just like 6 minutes. I wasn't winded. I wasn't tired. I then ran to my mom, but she kept walking. And then I ran to my mom and then walked with my mom. And like, that was just my life, because I ran in soccer. Also, I mean, like I played midfield. So like you're up, you're back, you're up, you're back, you're up, you're back. Like you're always on the move, going.
Yeah.
So much running. And like, I really loved soccer. It was a lot of fun. It's probably good I didn't know about rugby, because that's definitely a thing I would have very much enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
I
did rugby in college and loved it.
I got carded more than once for running face first into a person, which is a rugby move I didn't know about. I had anger issues as a teen. Anyway, I remember like I was in like peak physical condition. Like I could go, and like then when like the pool opened, I'm like, I'm going to the pool. My mom's like, bye. I would come home after 45 minutes and I'm like, my knees are wobbling. I'm like, where's some pineapple? My blood sugar is crashing. Like it was awful. And I was in really good shape. So I cannot imagine being like, I'm not super athletic. I'm joining the swim team. Like a 2.5 hour swimming practice.
Right.
What?
Like it's funny to me because it seems like, I don't know, high school is just so different, because I'm used to club where like they're all like at the top. Like they sought this out. They're doing this. And like high school, I just assumed was going to be like the same level, but it's not.
No.
And it cracks me up on every team. There's like kids that I'm like, boy, I'm so excited you made it all the way back. Like,
yeah,
I get so excited for them. Like you did it.
Like, look, that's an accomplishment too.
Well, and you know how embarrassing that is?
Yeah.
The kid got out and did it. I'm so proud of them. Like,
yeah. No,
that is some like next.
That is also like
learning that you're doing.
I will say this. I was having this conversation the other day with Michelle. So I think especially kids who are like in that 10 to 15 range right now, like right in like maybe 14 is probably the top. Those were kids that had the most time during the early development part during 2020. When we had to do e-learning, right? The distance learning.
Right.
And I've seen it because apparently I somehow missed that all of my friends were pregnant in 2013. All of them. All at once. Just missed it.
Yeah.
Didn't put it together. I must have gone to a million baby showers. Everybody's baby is now 11. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. So is mine.
That's fine. But like the number of kids and like that I see, and it's like, oh, that's hard. I quit.
Oh,
And I don't think that it's like, I don't think it's because they're lazy. I don't think it's because they're bad at anything. I think it's because when they were learning, like they would have, if they had been in school, it would have been like, well, I know it's hard, but let's keep going. You know, like they would have had that social, but like instead, oh, the technology isn't working today. We're not having class.
Right.
And there's nothing we could have done about any of that, like at all.
Right.
And so like, cause I know like one of my nephews gets really frustrated really fast if he's not good at a video game right away. And it's like, oh, if the technology, like if it's hard. And so like we've forgotten because of that, like that very important developmental stage, like where they were in like anywhere from kindergarten to third grade, where they learn to fail and that it's okay.
Yeah.
They missed that. And then when they got back to school, they're doing state testing. They're like, they didn't learn it's okay to mess up. And so they just get super frustrated and quit. And so like we've got to work on like teaching kids to fail. So I really like that, like that might be, I'm the last kid out of the pool, but I did it.
But you did it.
But you did it.
But you did it. Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's huge. And especially in swimming, because like you can get disqualified for literally anything.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like you wiggled. Like, you know, like when you're on the starting block, you're not allowed to move at all.
I didn't know that. I don't know anything.
Can't move at all. So, I mean, obviously can't fall in. That's obvious.
Well, that would, I think, be cheating. Yeah.
But it happens to everyone. Everyone at some point slips and falls in. And it's super embarrassing.
Oh,
and I can't tell you how many times Ellie has done this. And then she has to swim the rest of it. You can't just be like, I'm done. Like, you have to swim the rest of it. But like if you wiggle slightly, if you turn the way they don't like you to turn, like you might think it's fine, but they're like, nope, you lifted your feet too much. You twitched your shoulder too much. You can be DQ'd. So like, there's so many things that you just have to be like, it's not up to me. I did the best I could.
Yeah.
And then you're back at it in 2 days. Like you're trying again. But yeah, sports in that respect are great. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, my son's a goalie, so he gets it nonstop because he's not going to score a perfect season. Like that's not a thing.
No.
So like you learn to get back up.
Yep.
Go again.
Look, when I started playing soccer, I played on a rec team for several years, and then I was old enough to play on my middle school team. And my middle school team, we did really well. Mm-hmm. My first year, we won like the regional or what, like we were like the champions, right? Like we did it. It was great. We had a great season. But when I tell you that every rec team I was ever on, we were all defeated. Like we never won a game. Yeah. Ever. Like we literally never won a game. We lost every single game we played. Every single one. And not by like one goal. Like we were awful. We were terrible. And like I also like the other thing is I remember like I played soccer because I was in midfield. So like I was a halfback. So sometimes I'd get pulled back to like I'd end up being on defense because that's where we need to be, right? Like
yeah.
And then like you get a breakaway. Well, you're playing defense. Like it's not you that got the breakaway. You fed the breakaway, right? Like that happens. I think I played soccer for 4 years before I scored my first goal. 4 years. And I remember scoring my first goal and my parents, like the celebration on the sidelines, my parents were like so excited. Everyone's like, what's the big deal? Lindsay's so good at this. My parents were like, that's her first goal, like ever. And they were like, oh, like this season. She's like, no, like ever in the world. And they were like, that can't be. And it was like, because that's, you have to be the team. You have to be like, it's not me.
So my friend's kids are in like a super elite soccer.
Yeah.
And she was saying that after every game, the coach sends out the, like, who got the goals.
Right.
Like the goals of the game of like who got them. And she was like, why is that important? She's like, because the defense had to do their job and the mid had to do their job. Everyone had to do their job. So
that's right.
The forward could score. So can we congratulate everyone? Congratulate the goalie who like worked her heart out.
Yeah.
So that so it's very interesting to me because in hockey, we don't really talk about goals like that because we're always in hockey, it's always about like the assists and all these other things. And like when it comes to each game, there's player of the game, not necessarily like scorer of the game. Like whoever was like working their butt off, like that's who we celebrate. But in soccer, it didn't seem to be like that. So it's fascinating to me.
That's
like
interesting, because that was not my experience when I played soccer.
Right. It's just like whoever is doing it.
Because like when I was doing it, and I coached soccer when I taught high school. Yeah. It was like, these were the goals. Yes. These were the assists, because you didn't get there by yourself.
Nope.
Like, even if you got a breakaway, who fed you that ball? You weren't on your own.
Exactly.
You're not the only person on that field. And then we also did, like, we had statistics for our stopper, our sweeper, and our goalie. Like, we were like, you know, Danielle played stopper for this many minutes. She had this many stops. Like, sweeper cleared this many attempts. The goalie stopped this many goals. Like, we had all those statistics because you didn't get there by yourself. Like,
no.
Yeah. And I think, like, I guess hockey does it better. I mean, hockey is one of the only sports that I like watching. And now I realize why that is.
Why?
I have ADHD. And hockey doesn't stop. Hockey is so intense that you have to change the people on the ice every, like 2-3 minutes?
Yeah, it's every 2 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on when you get a
like, you're going so hard that professional athletes need a break after 120 seconds. That's the kind of game I want to watch. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like rugby, like, look, I discovered rugby at the Olympics this year because I got to see the women's national team win the bronze medal.
They're so good.
That was the most Olympic thing that ever Olympicked. Okay. Yeah. Like, I saw that try. And like, I understand rugby at the level that I understand because I read a series of books by Penny Reed and L.H. Conway, who was about a rugby team. Because that's who I am. Right? Hey, I learned it at least.
I'm learning. I learned in my spice. Got a little spice. A little learning
in my spice. And so, like, I understood what was happening. I understand what a try is. Like, I get like a down is. Like, I understand all those things. I didn't know there were 7s and 21. Like, I didn't know any of those things. But like, I learned it because, of course, after the Olympics, I researched it to the nth degree.
I mean, it was interesting. Yeah.
But like, I remember watching the opposing, I don't remember who they were playing. I remember the opposing team getting the try. And I remember going, oh, there's 13 seconds left. That's the end. That's it. And the announcer goes, that's not all. They've still got a shot. I was like, there's 13 seconds. That is a 110-yard pitch. I'm like, who are you? Right? Mm-hmm. And she got it, and like I'm literally sitting my computer, go! Like, I'm jumping up and down, like screaming my computer screen, and like watched her slide into the end. And I was like, oh my God, like, they did it. It was the most Olympic thing that ever Olympicked. It was like, those women are so, oh my God, it was so, and like they cut to the side, and like they had to do, like, they have to get the field goal. And like one of the girls, like, they're all like hanging on to each other. And one of the girls was like, shut up. Like, you could see her saying, shut your mouth. And the announcers are like, we got you. We'll be quiet now. Like, it was really funny. But like, I mean, it's just, and like of course, then because I was Googling rugby or whatever, the algorithmed itself. And some physicist, I guess, or mathematician, something, did the calculations on Alona Mar running for a try during the Olympics. And he like calculated how tall she was, the angle of the camera, like all of these crazy things, right? Like, he's doing all the math. And she just like stiff arms the lady, like just like knocks her right out the way. Cause like, I'm going to do the thing. She has the ball. So she's carrying a ball, knocks over someone grabs her. She still gets to the end zone. And he calculated how fast she was running and how far she was from the end zone and how many meters she had to run because there was a curve. Okay, like, this guy's doing literally every math problem ever on the planet.
Right.
She ran 100 meters faster than the current gold medal sprinter.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Like,
wow.
I mean, like, if you, like, she had obstacles to overcome. It wasn't a straight run.
Right.
She's carrying something. She has to get by someone. Someone is holding onto her back, and she still makes it in less time. What? Like, what?
I feel like that's the most like female thing ever.
Right? Just like, whatever, I'm just gonna do this.
We're doing this.
We're just doing the thing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the most, but like, that's my thing about watching sports is that like, I cannot watch men's soccer. I cannot do it. I cannot watch men's soccer. It makes my blood boil. I can't do it. I can't watch men's basketball. I don't understand that either. But if you give me women's sports, I can watch women's sports because women don't stop. Men are like, men's soccer, it's like if I wanted to watch you practice passing a long pass around midfield, I'd just come to practice, make a run. Make a run. Somebody move your body. They're just like tippy tappy, tap, tippy tap, tippy tap, tippy tap, tappy. Like move your feet.
It's amazing.
I can't take it. I can't take it. And I don't understand men's basketball. We get a breakaway. We get to the other end of the court, and then we stop and let everyone catch up and just dribble the ball while everybody gets in position. Shoot the ball.
Uh-huh.
Also, I can't do the squeaking in basketball. If I wanted to listen to an hour of squeaking, I'd just get a mouse. I can't do it. I want to like basketball a lot. I want to like it. I just, the shoe, I can't do the shoe thing. I can't.
Yeah. I only like sports that my children are doing because I have something to like care about.
That's fair. But like hockey, that's it. If it's non-Olympic, hockey is the only thing I'm curious. I don't know. I like watching track, but again, it's fast.
It's fast. It is. Yes. 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 That made me think of, so today's the last day, as I said. So last night I was up super late making teacher gifts.
Yeah. As you do.
As you do. So I wanted to ask you, like, what was the weirdest teacher gift you have ever got? Not the best, the weirdest.
Weirdest teacher gift I ever got. Oh God. I didn't like, because I taught middle school, I didn't get a lot of teacher gifts.
Isn't it funny how you get like older and you get like,
yeah, like and like I get it. Like when you have one teacher to purchase for, that makes more sense. You have 6 teachers to purchase for, like that's a lot harder. I understand that. I would say the weirdest, I don't know that I really ever got anything like notably strange. I will say the strangest thing someone ever made for me, and if it hadn't been a student that I deeply trusted, I would not have eaten it. Because it was in a napkin. Okay. Like she brought it in. It was the last day of the year. It was the last day of the first semester. So it was like this time of year. And like, it's in a napkin. And she's like, Miss Martin, I brought you a goodie. And I was like, oh, great. Right. And like, she hands me a napkin and I'm like, what is this? She's like, just eat it. Just eat it. If it had not been that I trusted this child implicitly because I knew her mama, like I knew her mom.
Because I'm like, in a napkin?
Like, oh, what is, she's like, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I'm like, all right. And it was chocolate covered bacon. And she was right. I did love it.
That is just the funniest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
A napkin. Like, it was obvious that like, it was obvious that she was leaving and her mom had made chocolate covered bacon. And she was like, oh, Miss Martin will love this. So she put it in a napkin and brought it to school, like on her way out the door. Like it was obviously that's what happened. And it was so sweet. But like, if that had been any other kid, I'd have been like, I'm going to try it at lunch.
No, thank you. That's a big.
Yeah. As a teacher, you know whose food you can trust and whose you can't. And you can also clock a teacher, because it used to be that like before everyone had an emotional support water bottle, teachers have always had an emotional support water bottle. But before they all had lids, a lot of emotional support water bottles were just open. Or like if you had a coffee cup, you do not leave your glass unattended.
Right.
Like if you are teaching, it's in your hand. If you're in the hallway, it's in your hand. It is never on your desk unattended because you don't know who's going to put what in your drink. And I'm not talking about getting roofied. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, have you ever had hand sanitizer put in your coffee? Lots of teachers have. It's not pretty. And so like you can clock a teacher if they're like in a group, they all like, they always have their water bottle like in their hands. Yeah. And it's because we're just like, please don't make me sick. I don't, or like completely innocently, a kid goes to get a tissue, which happens to be beside your coffee or your tea, and sneezes in your drink. You didn't know. Now you just drank them germs. Like, nope. That's the thing. So like you just never leave your drink unattended. That's just a rule. And now with like everybody having a drink, it's probably way easier. But like when I was a teacher, my kids didn't have drinks at their desks. None of my kids had water. None of my kids had an emotional support water bottle when I was teaching.
Well, right. They could go use the water fountain. We don't really have those anymore.
No, we didn't have water fountains.
You didn't have water fountains at your school?
No.
They just went cold turkey.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
We had water fountains at the school before COVID.
They had bottled water. Like kids could get bottled water at the cafeteria, but like you either brought a drink and you had a drink, or you drank at lunch, and that was it. Now everybody brings their own, but we didn't. I can't think of a.
It's one of those funny things when you think about it. Like when you were a kid, and you're like, "Did I have a water fountain?"
You know what? There was a water fountain, but it wasn't on our hallway. So the problem was, if you wanted, so like our school was like, there was like a main corridor, and then there's like 4 wings. And like, there were no water fountains in the wings. So if you wanted water, you had to go into the main hall, but they only had 4 minutes between classes, because all your classes are in like a little pod. So like especially if you're at the far end of the hallway, you can't get all the way through the crowd to get to water to get back.
Right.
So.
Right. So
your biology teacher got X-Lax put into her cup one year, and she never left her cup on her desk again. Carly, yep. Mm-hmm. That's a thing.
That's a nope. Mm-mm.
This is why, like, teachers always have a drink in their hand, because they're not going to leave it alone.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. So for my teacher gifts, I made the ornaments that I did for Jolly Holiday.
Yeah.
And then I always give them a gift card. I like making them something like handmade and personal. Be like, listen, I actually thought of you. Thought of you, something little, and then giving them like something that is a useful gift. And I'll do, like, when it comes to like holiday times, whatever somebody has organized, I'm in on. Like if you're like Ellie's school does a cookie exchange.
Oh, nice.
They ask you to bring like 3 dozen cookies, and then they put them all out, and then teachers get a box, and then they can put their own cookies in.
Oh, that's great.
So they can make themselves like their own little box. And it's really nice for like high school and middle school teachers, because it's like it's a cute little extra.
Yeah.
Or whatever. If they're bringing in lunch, I'll donate to that. Whatever it is, this time of year, and like teacher appreciation, it's like, sign me up. Whatever it is, sign me up, because you have to deal with my son, not my daughter. She's the easy one. You'll have everybody loves her. So, but yes. So I'm only assuming there's more of my son out there. So I will do anything and everything for you.
Look, that was one of the weirdest things that I learned when I was teaching, is that like, so one year I had 2 students. I had a girl in first period, and she was like the kid that if I wasn't there and there was a substitute, she was the person who turned in attendance.
Yes.
She was the person who turned on the projector for morning announcements and got the computer turned on. She knew that was her job, because she was responsible, lovely, had it together.
You just described my daughter. Yes.
I have a student 8th period who is literally the spawn of Satan. Everyone hates him. He's a pathological liar. Like literally his classmates are like, oh my God, he's in this class. He's that kid. All right. Cannot tell the truth to save his life, is just a nightmare behavior problem, because his hormones are just way too much in control.
Just all the way out of the control.
Right. It was spring break when I found out they were twins. And literally like my friend Tina, who taught science, was like, yeah, well, I missed him, so I sent it home with his sister. I was like, who's his sister? Thinking she's in the other end of the other mini school. And she goes, you have her first period. I was like, what? She's like, well, they have the same last name. I'm like, their same last name is like Smith.
Right.
Or Miller. Right. Like, it's not like it's odd. It's not like it's, like Demumbrian or something. Like, it's Miller. And I was like, they're related. And so like, she told me that at lunch. And at the end of the day, I wasn't going to ask him, because he would lie about it. And I knew that. So like, I in the hallway, and I see her coming, because she's coming from Tina's class at the end of the hall. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Is so-and-so your brother? And she goes, oh my God, what did he do now? And I was like, no, like literally, are you related? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, how? And she goes, oh, that's such a nice compliment. Thank you.
It's not the first time. Like, if you're
it's not the first time she's heard that, for sure. But I was like, that is the craziest. That is the crazy. It was because I was like, they're not related. How could those two humans be related?
I always find it amazing, especially middle school, because they change so much in that time period.
Middle school's wild.
Depending on when your middle school starts, like ours starts at 6th grade and they're babies. Those are tiny little cute pumpkins. And then they graduate middle school. And like, they're like monsters, like so big. And you're like, whoa.
If there was a cartoon, if there was like a comic strip to demonstrate middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. In 6th grade, the brain cells are very big and the hormones are very small. And the brain cells are doing the work. Yes. And the hormones have teeny tiny little like hammers. And then in 7th grade, everybody's kind of evened out in size and maybe we're having a few clashes, right? Like there's a couple scuffles, skirmishes. Mm-hmm. And then by 8th grade, the brain cells are teeny tiny and they have pencils and the hormones are basically Godzilla wielding weapons over the brain cells. And that's how middle school works. Mm-hmm. And it is, it's not their fault. They literally do not have control of it. Their hormones are their hormones are the driver's seat. But I will say one of the strangest things that I've ever seen happen is the change over the summer between 8th and 9th grade for boys. This is a thing I did not realize was a thing. And it happened to me more than once. I walked by this is a child that if his parents had abandoned him, I would have adopted him. Okay. Uh-huh. I love that kid. I love that kid. To this day, I love that kid. All right. He came to pick up his younger brother. Because his brother was 1 class year younger than him. So he came to pick up his younger brother the year after he left my class. I remember walking down the hall and being like, well, that dad's hot.
That's exactly how it is.
And he went, Miss Martin, you just going to walk by me? And I was like, Graham, did I just say he was hot? Oh, like,
it's so funny. You grow like an entire foot and you're like,
but like the spread of their shoulders and their traps happen and then they lose, like their face looks like a man now. And like, it is one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
It's so funny. And like just that transition, because like every kid is slightly different. It could be like 9th to 10th or like, but there is a transition for boys where girls are pretty much cooked.
Yeah. Girls, like when they get to middle school, their features are pretty set.
Yeah. Like
their facial features are pretty set when they get to middle school. There's a little change, but like, then it happened to me again. It happened to me I had a kid named Dakana. Like I know him. He was in my 8th period class. I knew his mom. I had his younger brother. Like this is a kid I knew. I saw him every day. Like I had him in my class longer because he had a late running bus. Like I knew this kid.
Yeah.
Comes to his brother's baseball game and is razzing me about like not buying a ticket. I'm like, you have to buy a ticket. Like, I'm just like, I don't know who you are, kid. Like, get out of it. And then his mom walked in and she was like, why are you giving Miss Martin trouble? And I was like, Akina? And he was like, yeah. And I was like,
what? You don't look like that no more.
And his mother goes, I know. And I was like, I didn't. He's like, did you really not recognize me? And I was like, no. He's like, Miss Martin, how could you forget your favorite student ever? And I was like, because you look like a man.
Look like a little boy anymore.
And he's like, I always look like this. I was like, no, you did not. And I was like, so like, I was like, go get your middle school yearbook and then look in the mirror. And you don't look like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny how like, and then like the settling down that kids do where like, they're like off the charts wild. Like my brother was always that demon child. And now he's the most mellow, intelligent, I'm like, who are you? Like complete reverse. And like, it's wild to watch. Like you see these kids and they're just like, whoo, those hormones needed to settle down.
Yep.
It's wild. Anyway, it has nothing to do with why we're here. So tell me what is going on tonight for Hankmas.
Well, speaking of all the kids that I've taught in my life, the clue today is I have said this to more than one student. Probably shouldn't have, but here we are.
Probably shouldn't have.
Probably shouldn't have, but here we are. So that's the clue for today. Because that's the name of the bag.
Nice.
I have all the listings created. I have photos linked. I'm very excited. Like, you can't find them on the web. They're not published anywhere. They just live in hype. They're just living in the void.
You have to.
And then we're live at 8. And then if there's, I haven't checked. I didn't even think to look today. But so last night because I'm doing great.
You're doing all the things. You're doing all of the things.
So last night, the first night of Hankmas was a new bag, and that clue was when two bags really love each other, sometimes they make a new bag. Mm-hmm. And so I took the stash finder, which Marley loves, with the view panel.
Love the
stash finder and a pattern keeper, and so I made the bag itself all fabric, and then I put a panel on the front that's a zippered pocket, so you can put like your pattern in there or like whatever you want to look at.
Fantastic.
So that you have two things in one.
Right.
And that's called the stash keeper, because stash finder, pattern keeper, stash keeper.
Like it.
Two project. Mm-hmm. They made a new bag. The guesses for that one were so funny because someone was like, "Oh my God, imagine if it's the worth doing." Like, because that bag's so huge. Mm-hmm. So I laughed really hard. Like the guesses were great. I loved the guesses. And so that's the guess for the clue for today is, I said this to many a student amount of time, but I probably shouldn't have, but here we are. For all my teachers out there, because every teacher has like a phrase, right? Like we all have that thing that you say, and everybody, like your kids know, like they can tell who's yelling at them by the phrase. Because mine was, seriously? Like if you were doing something stupid, that was what I would say. So that was mine. But so all my teachers out there, I see you. Solidarity. You can do it. It's just one more day. And
get through a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. And so we're live at 8. We're on the app, the website, and Facebook.
And the link eventually will be in this.
The link will eventually be there. If you you can find it literally if you go to my Facebook page, it's there. If you go to the group, it's there. It's like all the things. And apparently Mindy knows that there are still some stash keepers available on the website for you to purchase if you did not catch it live last night.
That's very exciting.
So that's exciting.
That seems like a great idea. I love it.
So that one's fun. And then tonight is, I've been trying to make, I'm going to be honest, I've been trying to make this bag happen for probably 3 years and could not get the construction together. Yeah. And then I figured the construction out after watching, let's not talk about how many tutorials on the internet. So many. And then I finally figured it out. And so they are photographed and I have barcodes for them and all the things. So yes, Julia, it's 8 Central, 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. So, cause I'm in Central time. So
yes,
9, 8, 7, 6 across the country. Yeah. So that is, and then tomorrow of course is a different bag, but this one has 46 different fabrics, 46 fabrics tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So 46 different options for you to choose from because I'm crazy town.
That is an unbelievable amount of choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you can't find something that you like in that.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of ideas.
Don't have options for you. I'm down. I'm done.
Because we've got sheeple, we've got geometrics, we've got florals, we've got like all kinds of different things. So it's a lot of fun. Even if you don't like the bag, come hang out with us. It's super fun times.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely,
we do enjoy it. And then you guys, what are your patterns? Do you have samples or are we just I put the knit one up. I supposedly should be able to share my screen and show it to you. Just let's see if I can actually do that and not give you the back end because I'm really good at doing that. Hopefully StreamYard is actually showing you what's happening. It is.
Oh, good. So they are the mittens that match the hat from.
Oh,
so, like
I love that.
Them like up and down so you could see them together. But like for the knit, so the knit ones are up. They're not exactly the same pattern, which I really like. They're like they complement each other. It's like the little boxes inside the hat
Mm-hmm.
are like the little boxes on the mitts.
I love that.
The crochet ones are like the little, it's not like that full panel, it's like half of it.
Gotcha.
So like if I scroll down, like if you haven't seen it, this is Jolly Holiday. This is where we have a free pattern every day, a knit one and a crochet one. So like there's a better view of it. So the thumb is stripes, but the whole hand is the cute little boxes. And they match. And then so obviously click the red button and you get your free pattern. I will update the crochet one. I just need a little bit more time to finish that one. The crochet one was really funny because Marley took it with her to Disney to take pictures. So this morning she's like walking around Disney taking pictures. She must have looked like a crazy person because like she made the child size. So it's not even a mitt that fits on her hand. She's like leaving it places and taking a picture of it. I'm like,
well, but like, here's the thing. I don't think anybody thinks that's weird anymore because people will make content everywhere, like video content creators. Like I saw somebody doing a TikTok dance in the middle of an airport.
I guess that's more normal, but this looks like something happened that she's taking a picture of a child's mitten. Like,
yeah, at Disney, that could go like, weird. That's true.
It does seem a little odd. And like, it cracked me up.
Marley doesn't care.
She doesn't. And she's literally hanging it up on like, she's like hanging it up, stepping back, taking the picture. It's not like, oh, I just left it on a table to take a picture or like on the railing. No, she's in the store hanging it up. And I'm like, just cracked me up imagining her do this. And then John, who's like, at this point, it was like, nothing is weird.
No,
sure.
Nothing's weird.
Sure. Yeah, so the mitts are today. I just need a little bit more time to finish the crochet one so I can update those pictures because they're really funny. Or they're funny to me. They look like normal pictures. Then tomorrow we have big ones. We got, like, today's a little, because like yesterday's was a gigantic. Getting both of those out was huge. Yesterday, the dinosaur and the knit cardigan, they were big. So I'm giving everybody a few more minutes with the dinosaur too being up.
Yeah,
everyone can download it.
Like the dinosaur or the raptor.
Yeah, Rory, he's amazing.
I love him. Her, whatever. When Marley was holding it up, like I could see the feet dangle, and then she turned around, and I just about died. Like it was so good.
He's so good, and the pattern is so interesting. It's not for beginners, so like if you're a beginner on amigurumi, choose a different pattern first. Like get your skills up, and then do the dinosaur. But the way Megan's brain thinks is fantastic. It's like you want to live inside of it. It is so good. It's so good. So
Isn't she also an animator? Doesn't she do animation?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's an animator for DreamWorks. It's unbelievable. So the pattern is fantastic. It's a really big pattern.
Did she help make Toothless?
What was that?
Did she help make Toothless?
Oh, she did help make a lot of I know she did the trolls.
Like I am obsessed with this tiny dragon.
You know what's really funny?
I have teeny tiny Toothlesses all over, everywhere.
That's my son's favorite. Like hands down favorite. Everything is Toothless.
Look, when I tell you that someone drew dragon eyes, that's an embroidery file, that if you stack the threads correctly, it looks like the green of his eyes. And I found it in one of my sewing groups. Someone did it on a black bag. So it looks like just this part of his little face. And then she was like, but you can't have Toothless without his mate. So then she did it with blues and purples on white. Did I go by the embroidery file? Yeah. Do I embroider anything? No.
Amazing.
Like I can't tell. Like I like my husband will get me the little like Funko Pops. Like we don't take our Christmas tree down. Okay. I like the light source that my Christmas tree is year round. So we just don't decorate it. I have one reindeer and I have one reindeer ornament on it. That's it. I like it as a light source. So like I'm a grown up and I like my Christmas tree. I leave it up.
You can do whatever you want.
That's right. I can do whatever. I can have birthday cake for breakfast.
Yeah,
I can. There's got to be some redeeming quality to being a grown up. There has to be. That's what I found. And so my husband bought me the little teeny tiny like Funko Pops of all the dragons from this movie, and like they are hiding in the tree.
Oh,
so I have a dragon tree. Because also,
because why wouldn't you?
Because I'm obsessed with dragons, like fully obsessed with dragons. It's not healthy. If I had the opportunity to have an actual dragon, I would. The only thing I've ever dressed my dog up as is a dragon. I sewed little felt spikes on her thunder shirt, and she was a dragon.
Yeah, because
that's the only thing she'll tolerate wearing is her thunder shirt. So yeah, cherry ganache pie for dinner. Absolutely. Like,
I love a good pie.
Like, I am deeply obsessed with dragons. I've always been obsessed with dragons. And then when Toothless came out, like when I tell you that my family, it was when Redbox was a thing before Netflix streaming happened. We rented How to Train Your Dragon so much that finally my mom was like, we've bought this DVD 4 times. Right. Let's just go buy the DVD. So we did. Did we watch that movie pretty much every night for a full solid week? Yeah.
It's a good, there's some like, movies that you're like, ugh, to watch with your kids, but like, it's a good movie.
But like Toothless, like when we got our fancy new TV, that was the first movie we watched because Dave was like, what do you want to watch? And I was like, How to Train Your Dragon. And then there's these things, I don't know if they're in your area or not. It's like a candlelight concert. And like, it's a quartet of stringed instruments. And Dave and I got tickets to one, and it's at the Parthenon, downtown Nashville. And the acoustics in the Parthenon are just like, it's an actual replica of the original Parthenon, like the statue of Athena and everything in it.
That sounds really fun.
And it's candlelit, and like they're all like, they're not like real, like you're not going to burn anything down. They already did that with the real Parthenon, so we're good. And so like it's all a candlelit, and like there's candles all around. And it's a string quartet. And we went to the sci-fi fantasy one, right? So, we were going to get Star Wars and Star Trek, and we got Back to the Future, which was like a sleeper hit. Didn't realize how good that score was. That was fun. But then they're like, oh, we're going to do How to Train Your Dragon. Please be kind. This is a very difficult piece to play on the violin. Like, you don't realize how sweeping this epic is until you have to play it. And like, when I tell you I was close enough to these musicians that I could hear their fingers on the fingerboard of the cello, that's how close I was to this artist. Okay. And she starts playing it. And when I tell you that I teared up, like I was fully crying while I listened to them play that song. And I look at Dave, and so is he. And I was like, it's not just me. And he's like, no, it's so good. I was like, it's so good. It was like fully unhinged.
What I love about music and movies, and when they move you, there's nothing else.
And like, I like deeply obsessed with that entire, like, and I know it's a series of books. I have not read the books. I love the movie. Will I go see the live action movie?
I read when Will gets an obsession, we go deep. They're great. They don't follow obviously the same plot. No. But they're great. They're funny. They're cute. I'm all
am I super excited about the live action? Do I care that it's shot for shot the cartoon? No. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
That means that Toothless could really exist. And if anybody's going to tame a dragon, it's going to be me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, if I actually have to promise about getting something, I better get going and actually put the pattern up.
Probably. I should probably go sew the pile of fabric that used to be bags and it's now fabric again.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to see what happens tomorrow, and you can tell us how it all goes tonight.
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm
Yeah.
all in. So I'll see you back here around noon tomorrow.
Around noon tomorrow.
my time.
Noon your time. 11 my time. Okay. I would have noticed when you
figure
sent me
out
a text
how to
message.
set it up again.
Y'all, you don't know, like, I came in here. I was finishing up a phone call. I came in here and she's like, I don't know how to do the description. And I was like, I don't either. That's Marley's thing.
Right.
We are not Marley.
Pictures, all of those things. Gotcha. I'm your lady.
Yeah.
The rest of it beats me. Not your lady for that.
It's fair.
But all right. Well, hey, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.